3 million years from Earth, the Red Dwarf podcast thanks for the memory. Its crew, Blake Braswell, a USA native, and Lee Malaby, his English co-host. Additional. As we are close to reaching the end of Series 8, I am praying that Red Dwarf gets better. Because if not, we're finished! What is up, Smegheads, and welcome to Series 8 of Thanks for the Memory, a Red Dwarf podcast where we rewatch every episode of the BBC comedy show Red Dwarf and discuss them. I am Lee with my good buddy, Blake. Hey, Blake.
Can I just say one thing?
Yeah.
We're finished!
That was... so, I don't know whether it's supposed... That was my favourite bit of this entire episode.
It's very classic Rimmer. Yeah.
It was very, very good.
I feel better. I've calmed down.
The rest of it, not so much, but we'll get there, I'm sure.
One thing. Oh, goodness. Well, today we're here to discuss the 7th episode of Series 8, Pete, Part 2. Originally aired on April 1st, April Fool's 1999. Crichton uses the time wand to resurrect Birdman's pet sparrow, Pete, but accidentally devolves him into a T-Rex that rampages through the ship. Lister and Rimmer are brought before Captain Hollister, who orders them to change Pete back. Discuss the episode. I don't wanna.
So
I have a weird experience with this one, Lee.
Me too.
I don't want to. I'm not as far as an angry Star Wars nerd. Okay, that's not where I'm at. Like, we're like, you've ruined my childhood. But I think, like, especially like working in entertainment and stuff. My follow-up viewings of this one, I started to get kind of like angry.
Yeah.
There's just we have talked about in the previous episodes little moments of, man, gosh, if they could have just done this, or they should have just made the show this. It's like right there in the script, or made this series. This, and like, you know, and this one, it's like proof in the pudding of all of that. You know, it's just take a bunch of jokes and tropes that we have created of our characters, which feels like the only thing that stays true to it. Like, this is kind of something Crichton would do or whatever.
Yeah.
And just put it in a blender, hit blend, stuff it into 2 barrels of the shotgun, pull the trigger, and however it falls on the ground, pick it up and put that script together.
So it's funny you say that, because jumping forward to the next episode, I literally wrote, we've gone from an episode that has a story overall with jokes laden in to an episode that is jokes loosely based around a story. Like, the jokes were always part of... So if you look at Marooned, the story is the whole episode takes place in that story. They crash land on the planet. They're waiting for them to come back. They come back. And then the jokes are in around it. It's now like he sat down and had all these jokes that he wanted to put. How can I link these jokes together to somehow create an episode of Red Dwarf, rather than, this is the story I want to tell, what jokes can we put in around this episode? And this is the series where it's really changed into, I said it last episode, it's just become a sketch show.
Well, so, like, Marooned is actually a perfect example. Because, one, it is excellent, but it is the perfect example of, one, say they needed to save money and do a cheap episode. Yeah. You've actually accomplished one set, man. Just, you know, bam. I think that one shot of the outside of the ship. Other than that, one set, 2 performers for the most part, and you then take the 2 years of, or 2 series of knowledge, the writers, the way these guys have been playing these characters, and just go, what happens if we lock them in a room like this? And I think it almost... this sounds like I'm about to say it's not easy, that it's easy to write. I don't mean that, but it almost writes itself in the sense of, if you are part of the creators working on that, you know what I'm saying? You're like, it's just great. Every joke, everything, you know, they invent the ideas of these little toys that Rimmer has, that, except he has mentioned stuff like that in the previous couple of series. So everything is a payoff. Or Lister loving his guitar and Rimmer hating it. And that while they haven't talked about the Camphor Wood chest before, it feels like something Rimmer would have.
Yes.
Well, now we don't. The problem with how this show has chosen to reboot itself
is terrible.
Is all that history is simultaneously there and gone.
Yes. It's there to kind of periodically nudge you in the ribs and go, hey, this is still part of a thing that's been going for 8 series. And you're like, oh yeah, I forgot that, because it doesn't feel like it anymore.
You mentioned before, this might be the least notes you've ever taken. And I agreed with you. And then I opened my notes, Lee, and I realized, actually, I think I was really annoyed last night when I was going through this. And I wrote more notes. A lot of them were asking questions like, why this, why that?
Yeah.
That I don't. And maybe what it is, even though I had a vague idea of how the series ended, memory-wise, I think I got angry because I watched 7, and then I watched 8, and then I needed to go back and do my rewatches for my notes and stuff. And knowing what it leads to for a final episode, I think made me more annoyed about this pointless 2-parter.
Yeah, it is completely pointless.
Even reading the synopsis made me angry. Crichton used the time wand to resurrect Birdman's pet. As if we knew Birdman. That dude's name was dropped in the last 5 minutes of the previous episode.
And to be fair, that synopsis actually takes place at the end of the last episode, not even this one.
No, exactly. Man. Oof. I love it. And even in the series 7 stuff, we're like, man, this isn't hitting.
No.
It's like I'll take one where we really didn't like a gag. The Scaruncle, Clink, whatever that Kachansky
there's a few of those in here.
But we didn't like how it ended up being done. But we both talked about that episode. It's like, it was I see what they're going for.
Yes.
It just didn't quite land. And, I could be wrong if I went back and listened to us, but I feel like Series 7 was this started strong, and then this doesn't really work, but it didn't feel like they weren't trying. And it's like, as much as the big, not trying, that's not fair to say, but as much as the big change of Kachansky coming back changes the dynamic of that show.
That was the difference. I think in Series 7, they were dealing with things that they haven't had to deal with in any other series so far. The Rimmer leaving, like Chris Barry leaving and having to work that out, and then bringing someone else in to replace him, and then dealing with trying to find her place. So there was an excuse for Series 7 of it being such a jumbled mess.
With some strong highlights. I mean,
there was some good stuff.
Ace Rimmer episode's great.
Yeah. Whereas with Series 8, they walked into this series with the status quo set from the start. We've brought the ship back. All the crew are there. They're in prison. You're working with that from episode 1. And 8 episodes was too much of a stretch. Too much of a stretch. Yeah.
But Series 7
I think
and
this one even more. Like we discussed part 1 on the last episode, and we were like, we kind of fell short of ripping it to bits because, hey, maybe after we've watched part 2, it'll all kind of make sense. So all the things we want to rip into it for will all play out. Spoilers, it didn't.
I was really nervous going into watching this one because I went, I don't have a memory of this. And I know that I've seen it.
Yeah, me too.
And I think it's because there's nothing to remember.
No. I mean, my biggest issue with it, like we talked about, it feeling like they're stretching the series out from 6 to 8. I'm so happy that when we get back into 10, when we get back to the normal Red Dwarf, that it goes back to 6 episodes, because 8 is too much, and this feels really... I've literally... My first note is, so we've done a split episode, we've done this part 1, part 2, and you literally spend the first 90 seconds of this episode, and I counted it was 95 seconds...
replaying the previous?
Yep. Then... the episode doesn't even start from that point. It starts from the last 30 seconds or so of the previous episode. So you're 2.5 minutes in to a 30-minute episode before you actually get any new content. That tells me that they're really struggling to stretch the time out, because it's like, we need to recap, and then we're not even going to go straight into. We're going to start So, in case you forgot what happened last week, the last 30 seconds of the previous episode.
Although, like, why you can't just do that as previously on Red Dwarf, and then it's weird to do that and then still replay the last.
Yeah, either do one or the other, and that tells me that you're looking for filler.
So, and also spending a ton of money, like CGI dinosaur, even if it ain't great in 1999, it's not cheap.
No,
like at all. And I'd actually argue when it's the puppet, it's better.
Yeah.
But you like it's a far better thing. I mean, don't be, like I said, I think in a previous episode, look, they gave you the money for 8 episodes. I mean, I get it. You're going to make 8. You're not going to be like, nope, we only do 6.
But then could you do? The argument is, if they said, here's the money to do 8, could you go, actually, we'd rather do 6, but pump more money and make those episodes better?
Right, and I don't know how this works for... I know they were trying to get... I heard at one point they were trying to get so many to go be able to do syndication. You need 52... whatever.
Okay.
There's some behind-the-scenes production stuff that like may have predicated why they pushed for it.
Right.
I don't... Are you familiar with the Scrubs TV show in America?
It's funny you say that. I've watched bits and bobs of it. I'm actually about to start watching it from the beginning so I can watch the reboot.
Well, I love one of the... Because no one ever talks this honestly, but one of the showrunners... when all the main cast could no longer do it, they did one more season.
Oh.
With I think one person and it was not received well. I'm not going to say it was bad. It's just not what people wanted, and it bombed. And they were like, "Why? What did you think? Why did you decide to do it? Why didn't you let it end off with the previous cast?" And he goes, "I was surrounded by a ton of people who had jobs on this as crew, as designers, and everything else. And I was told, hey, here's money for one more, even if you don't have the cast." I said, I'll do it. Well, screw it.
That's
then.
fair.
I don't care.
Yeah, there's more to it, isn't there? Yeah.
And I love hearing. So that's where, like, again, I mean, I have no doubts that we could sit down with the folks working on this and over a beer, and you'd be like, oh my God, I totally see why you did that. So I always, no one sets out to make a bad thing, and I get that.
No.
I guess where I got frustrated is I don't understand from the creative being locked and then, hey, you got the money to do it, how fast they had to move. But it's going to be very hard for me not to talk about the next episode, even though that's not a 2-parter with this one, because I do feel a lot of my frustration with this is just, I would rather have, and I'm not saying the next one is like Shakespeare, but the concept of the next one's story is much bigger and probably should have been a 2-parter compared to this. Like, if you were going to do one, why wouldn't it have been the finale?
That actually makes more sense. But then...
I mean, again, not saying you got to, but why wouldn't you do that? Like, it makes Pete seem so important, and it's not.
No, not at all.
Pete shows up at the end, and then to be honest, and he's only in the very beginning of this. Like, yes, the dino gag comes back, but I don't know. I just don't. Where's the person in the room when they got the little Post-it notes kind of marking through, like, then this happens, and you're like, well, okay, why?
And that's the problem. I feel like they had a load of like little sketches of like, oh, this could be fun and this could be fun, and they pulled them all together and went, what is the string that links all of these together, rather than, like I said, how it used to be, where it's like, this is the concept of the episode. What jokes can we tell? I mean, I actually, similar to, so after we recorded the last episode, I watched this next day, and I was like, okay, it didn't satisfy me at all. I watched it again for my second viewing and came out of it going, I actually hated that episode. It was terrible.
That is a little bit how I felt. I will say, though, it does have one of my biggest genuine laugh out loud moments of the whole series, of the whole...
Wow.
And it is and again, it's going to be a Chris Berry performance. But like it's a thing that he does that I friggin' rolled at.
But then it was like, and then I watched it for the third time, and I was like, it made me laugh a couple of times because I kind of got my frustration out of the way. But it just, this episode and the next one, and I think you said it on the last episode, we've gone to this weird place of, we have a time wand, but the story isn't about the time wand, really.
But it should be. In fact, even the way they end this episode points out that, like, what are you do? This doesn't make any sense.
No. The next episode, I think the same, Blake. I think there's something in the next episode that should have been the whole episode. And it's,
yep.
And it's probably about 3 minutes.
I have a feeling that we will talk about this. And then again, that's where it feels like it should have been a two-parter.
Yes, because you could have done both.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll talk about that one later.
I guess we really just come out attacking this one. And I mean, sometimes we kind of walk through it. But I can walk through a little bit in my questions. Do you remember was it 2 episodes ago with the guitar string appeal?
Crazy TV, yes.
Crazy TV, which is funny because I love my wife. Like, bless her. I love that she listens to this show. I'm like, you like listening to me even when you don't have to deal with me. I don't know if I'm flattered or if Lee is way cooler than I am.
It's not that, I can tell you that.
but she goes, oh my gosh, when you said the thing about, wait, the appeal came in at the same time as the guitar was delivered. How would the appeal be about the guitar strings? Because he didn't know about the guitar strings. And I was like, I know that in this kind of a show, you shouldn't nitpick that hard. But gosh, when I really saw that second go around,
it's an awful one.
It bothered me. But this starts the same way. Can I give you mine for the starts the same way? Opening scene, the actual opening after they've done the replay.
Okay.
Why does Crichton say, over here, eat me, Bob, and throw the time wand to Bob? Why not just use the wand and turn the dino back?
Because we have a joke
and I
that
say
we want
that
to tell.
because to jump to the very end, Lister does that in 3 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah, again, because you're filling for time.
Yeah. And also, what's the plan? Why to Bob? Like, is it just for the gag of, again, Bob in the belly coming up? Okay.
It's not funny, though.
Like, but also I don't get it.
No.
Why would Crichton do that? In fact, in another world, wouldn't it be even funnier if it had swallowed Crichton and we saw Robert Willard come up out of that and try to, I mean, I know they got to get him out, but I mean, still, like, it just, he turns Kachansky and the cat into little kids proof episode. Bip, 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 back. Yeah. He does this. Bip, 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 bap. So there's no justification as to why the time wand. And it's funny, they keep finding excuses to get rid of it. Like, they got it, they get it from the guy, then Crichton picks it back up, and then he gets bumped and it goes away. That is so weird to me. The time wand thing, it's such an important thing, and it's life altering. And in the show previously, anytime they found a piece of tech or something that would change their world,
they would.
That's a really important part of the show.
It would be the whole episode.
Yeah.
Or the focal point of the entire episode, where really here it isn't at all. And the weird thing is, considering I said it feels like a sketch show, it's probably less funny than it. The more jokes, but less ones hit.
Yeah. Especially because they don't come from anything. Like, if you could find a reason that Crichton as a character would have given the time wand away, maybe there's something in there. But just, we need to get rid of it because we can give him to Bob. Why does he get rid of it? I don't know. Just film him. Like, it just doesn't.
Yeah, no.
Feel like there's a reason.
We talked about it with the basketball game, didn't we? Like, the basketball game's a perfect example. It's like it serves absolutely no purpose whatsoever other than for them to get in trouble again.
You know what's funny? And what I think one of the things we talked about that episode was, usually you say show, don't tell. But in that case, we could have just seen the scene where they all come back wearing their sports uniforms and
like walking
they're
funny.
Sweaty or whatever.
Yeah.
And then the captain says, so this is what you did. And because to be honest, I think visualizing that is funnier than what they filmed.
Probably. Was that Crazy TV or was that Pete Part 1?
Oh, God, I don't even know. Because none of these things matter with the story.
No, it's true.
And we've talked about that before, but only about the cold open.
It was Pete Part 1.
Right. I still can't remember where the Barney Rubble, I'd be thinking of Wilma, like conversation happens in series 3. But that's because the classic was for the most part, the little cold open was unrelated to give you a
Yes.
glimpse of everyday life. And then we move into the story. This is different where you pull out any piece, I couldn't tell you, man. The potatoes, you would think that virus that like peel stuff would make a big difference, be a big deal, right?
Yeah, it wasn't.
That where they lose their hair and potatoes, but it doesn't, Lee. And in fact, it so much doesn't. They invent a new damn thing to eat the ship in the next episode. When you would have just thought that's something they would have done something that made the virus worse, and they created the situation in the next episode.
Oh, they managed to kind of. Oh, they thought they'd got rid of it. They thought they'd got rid of it, and then it comes back.
Or could control it, or like they screwed up something. They tell Holly to tell it to do a thing, and Holly screws it. Whatever. Like, I didn't think about that, dude.
Yeah.
I did not think about it until just now. Why would you have a ship-eating destructo whatever is it a virus? They call it a virus too? What do they call it? In episode 8.
Like a microbe or something like that. Don't they call it a microbe? I'm trying to think about the beginning when I have issues.
Yeah.
We're not talking about that one yet, Blake, because you're starting to make me get very angry over the second episode now.
But like it goes back to the previous episode of Pete where you get that virus the programmable virus that eats their clothes and their hair and everything. In Old Dwarf, you're like, this is coming back. This is like them discovering the luck virus or whatever, right? This is going to be a thing for the episode, and it isn't. And it didn't even occur to me until just now, but you could have actually brought it back for the final thing.
Or them either, apparently. Let's jump into a positive at this point. I think I know what your funniest...
We're finished? That's the positive?
It's funny, that is the next thing I've got written down. But
me too.
I'm hoping I know you said one of your favourite jokes of the series. I think I might know what it is because it's probably the funniest. It's the funniest joke in this episode by a long shot. Was it said by Holly by any chance, Blake?
That is one of my favorite gags. The long or the short, you're finished. What's the short? Bye.
But so Holly as well. It's brilliant.
There is another one I enjoyed that ended up being in the final episode, but we'll get to that one on Series 8. There's another one that I enjoyed the performance of.
Because obviously, we get angry Rimmer, don't we? We're finished! Sorry, I'm calm now. Can I say one more thing? Yeah, all right, then go on. We're finished! And then Holly's like, we haven't got time, give it the long version. Oh, we're finished. So what was the short version? Bye.
That's and that is some Series 1 and 2 Holly.
100%. But then he's barely in it again.
No, that's the other thing. That's another one of my questions, and I don't know if it's this episode or the next one. Why? Why do we have Holly? Again, okay, the next one actually really does annoy me at the beginning. Holly's not there, but whatever.
Just jokes. He's just there. He has become the cat of Series 8, where they have a certain joke to tell. But he only does,
like, a joke. You know? Oh, no, I lied. I'm sorry. Because Holly's in the next scene. So my next note after what you just said was Lister asks Holly for help. The "you're finished" bye joke. I said, that's funny. But they really have made Holly pointless. Like, why bring him back?
Yeah.
What's the point? Like, I actually think the ball was dropped by not bringing classic Holly back. But when you were introduced to super smart Holly, that had room to see Norman play like that version of Holly.
The opposite version, like the Queeg version of Holly.
I'm almost like, you know what would have been better? They're like, we can't find Holly. Oh, here he is. He's screwed up. And just like with Crichton, they erase him and reboot him. And you get super smart Holly. And then by the last couple of episodes, they do something that screws up Holly and he's back to old Holly. That would have been awesome.
I think this is where not having Rob Grant there to rein Doug Naylor in, I think he would have... I think a lot of the things that we're talking about, he probably would have gone, hey, do you know, this would be an idea.
Because, again, can you imagine? Yeah, and this stuff eats off all their material. Then this, we do this. And it's episode 7, this. Then 8, there's going to be this thing, an escape pod that comes back, and it destroys the ship. Well, wait. We had a virus that ate things. Why not? Oh, that's a good idea. Let's just... It feels first drafty.
It really does. It really does.
And that's where I don't want to say this is like garbage. Like, yes, in Series 7, I did have more of I see what they're going for, even when it's not quite working. You know, like the Jane Austen bit. it doesn't always hit great, but man, I really appreciate what they're like. I like that, you know, and Crichton showing up on a tank in a Jane Austen novel is ridiculous and funny, even though it's one too many times with the VR machine. But like, this just feels, man, it really first draft. Like we've all thrown out a bunch of ideas and then we walked away and they said, hey, we'll give you the money if you spend it and start shooting in 2 days.
Yeah.
And you went, oh God.
Oh, crap. Yeah.
Like, you know, and you had to put it together.
And that's, it's just like none of the scenes really have anything to do with, or a lot of the scenes don't have anything to do with the overall story.
So when you got a sci-fi or a fantasy story, you know it's not going well because there's one of two ways to do it. With sci-fi, you can like intentionally explain everything because it's got it's science fiction, or then there's sci-fi with, you know, fantastical elements like a Star Wars or whatever. You go, this is just fun. How does hyperdrive? Doesn't matter, just fun. Okay, I'm having fun. Just go, right? This one, you know, it's not going well when you start seeing the things like you're picking at. So, two things from a science fiction, like why science or why did this work, and two, story-wise, why would you do this? So. God, we've barely gotten through anything in this show. Bob gets swallowed by Pete the Dino.
And that's literally there just to have the really, really over-prolonged joke about the mint choc chip and orange soda and Coca-Cola. Again,
that joke could be great. It is way too long.
Way too long.
So Bob goes in and he hits the time wand. So here's my science fiction problem. From a science point, he hits the time wand and the ship unfreezes everybody. You just froze them at the end of the previous episode, and you've unfroze them about 3 minutes into the next. So what was the point? So anyway, you've unfrozen them. Science fiction wise, how in the world does the team have the time to make a gigantic Vindaloo? If the ship is now awake.
Yes. Where did they get the dino-sized bowl from, by the way?
And I don't even care about that. Like, I don't even, if that's supposed to be like a raft or something they're using, like, whatever.
No, but it says dino on it. They even put the wording down the side.
And they didn't like paint it. You know, it just said,
It says dino on it. Yeah, I know it's only a comedy show.
But it does. But I'm like, wait, well, why does it take the authorities on the ship so long to get to them, right? Because it looks like you would assume hours have passed.
Oh, right? Enough to make it like, where did they get the cow from?
Where did they get the cow from? Why, like, I get like the sort of Jurassic Park nod, like the cow, like, but like, why not? I don't know. Like, also it's weird because the dino's there and they're hiding, but then all of a sudden they're out and it's kind of weird. And if you're noticing those things, that means it's not being fun, right?
But this is where it goes back again, Blake, to me, of those little nudges in the ribs to go, hey, you remember this is part of an ongoing series. So the curry is, don't forget, Lister likes curries. That's all that is there for, just to kind of give a little nod into the fact that Lister likes curry.
Yeah. And it's not even like a, what if roughage won't work, what if we got something hot and spicy? And Crichton and Bob look at Lister, and it's like, what? Don't do it. Don't tell him. So we're gonna have to break into the hidden emergency reserves that we. Like even something like that. We're like, and he's having to dump out all the curry. Like,
oh, to be fair, the Lister does say, look, if he doesn't like it, I'll eat it anyway, so it's fine.
I'll have that. But so my story element though is you just froze the people.
Yeah.
Now you've unfrozen them. What was the point of freezing them?
The table
just
tennis
to give
joke.
enough time to get, because ostensibly they're trying to, they want to escape.
Yeah.
That was the point of the freeze, or to at least end their sentence. And then, so I don't like, it's so short. I don't know why you froze the crew, and to fast forward to the end, I don't know why you destroy the device because you still could escape.
It just doesn't make any sense at all. It doesn't make any sense. And the more you start to discuss it, the less sense it makes. I think that's probably why, like I say, on my second viewing, I came out of it going, I did not like that episode at all.
I was angry, dude. Like, here, I'll give where I can give kudos. I do love a classic Rimmer line.
I hope you're saying the one I've got written down here because it's hilarious.
Yeah, the whole he wants the blood, some intestines and a side of blood. Bit like French, actually. Oh, that's a very classic, like Rimmer line.
The one that made me laugh is when Hollister's is going, do you know what happens to a dinosaur when he's eaten 3 gallons of mint choc ice cream, orange popsicles, and 12 gallons of... he burps. That's right, he does burp. And do you know what all the men did? Probably... Whoa.
Yeah, waving his hand in front of his face.
That made me laugh.
That one and another Rimmer one made me laugh out loud very hard when I was like, it's like the only person that they are. Is Chris Berry good? Absolutely. But damn if they aren't screwing the rest of the cast because they don't give anybody else stuff like that.
No.
Like they are still writing some, I've said sometimes out of character, like Rimmer a bit, like too sexual or too, like, I'm like, that doesn't seem right to me or whatever. But like, oh my God, brilliant. That moment, it is brilliant. But why does nobody else get stuff?
No, I've
Lister
never noticed
really
that.
Gets screwed on the comedy writing, I think. Crichton, he makes the most of what can be given, like the whole, you don't know, sir. You mean you really haven't been told? Oh my goodness, you haven't been told the news. Like, but it's like
very few and far between. He gets a little bit in the next one as well. Like this episode, it's weird. So I think I talked about it in the last 2 episodes, how sexualized the series has become. And there's another bit in here when Crichton walks in on Kachansky under the bed. And she's like, oh, there's a little mouse. I'm trying to get it out. And it comes, oh, that'll be Archie. Archie? My penis, madam. And it's like, what the hell? And it's kind of funny. I was like, oh, made it like an Action Man polo neck sweater. Made me laugh. But it's like, where did that joke come? Like, And it's like, it's...
So yes, what I wrote was the penis gag could work. Except that it feels completely out of nowhere.
Oh, it is out of nowhere.
Which led me to, this is question number 15 or 20 that I wrote. There is so much being thrown at the wall to see what sticks.
Yes.
Again, that's where it feels like a first draft.
Yeah, it is. It's like you throw everything down and then see what actually works, but they haven't. It's all there.
In another episode, the whole episode would have been about Crichton going, I have to craft a penis because I feel out of place.
If you go back to like series 2, like a series 2 or 3 episode, maybe even 4... Yeah, it would have been that whole episode where Crichton's depressed because he's been...
Especially 4, because that's really the one where he's trying to break his mold.
Yeah, where he's depressed because he's been, labelled a woman and stuff. And yeah, you're right, it would have been a whole episode. It would have been... Yeah, it's just... I mean, it did lead to another Alien reference with Cat.
I know.
Which was semi-amusing, I guess.
So I'm going to go back a little bit. It's so funny, man. We are literally writing like we have this. I mean, sometimes you and I are. It's fun what we compliment each other on, like picking up different things. And I'm like, it's probably bad that we are so aligned on this because I think what the episode is so obvious. Like you said, all of, the Captain Hollister, we should address it. You did a little bit, but the whole 20,000 gallons of Coca-Cola and someone, do you know what happens to a dinosaur when it That, you ever heard comedy comes in threes?
Yes.
They did that like 6 times. Like, and the payoff wasn't worth it.
No, it wasn't worth it at all.
It wasn't worth it. Now, but you see where that could have been funny? You do the 1, the 2, and then the 3 leads to, and do you know what happened to the guard who was sneaking up from behind?
Yeah.
Like that, oh, it didn't have diarrhea. Yes, it did. There's something in there. But again, it feels like a first draft of a joke where you go, okay, thank you, writer. Like, so this is the job I do right now. I will get handed stuff like this, and although it's rare that it's that much crap on the wall, but you're like, oh, I see what you are the joke you're going for here.
Let's hone it in.
Usually it is trim, get to this, and it will hit harder. Like, that's the thing. And it's just missing So is that what Rob Grant did too, beyond just the
but then it also,
sci-fi story?
It also goes back to what I was saying about filling time, because that fills a lot of time. It's the same with when he goes, I don't want to see you back in my office again, and if I do, you're in trouble. So I'll see you in 10 minutes?
6 times, man.
Why?
And that immediately follows the Choco Ice conversation.
Yeah, I didn't understand that.
And again, hold on. And I got another one. I have another, hey, how did he know about the guitar strings moment for you? Right here. That you're like, this is getting sloppy now, right? Where like, I don't get it. So they do that, see you in 10 minutes, rewind. See you in 10 minutes, rewind, whatever.
Yeah.
Way too many times. You think it's going to set off a joke? It doesn't.
No.
They just do it.
Yes, it's weird. I don't understand. It doesn't make any sense.
And they do it and they turn around and leave. And Lister is holding the machine. Only for the next scene for Lister and Rimmer to be in their bunk with Rimmer complaining about Hollister, for Hollister to walk in and do the whole, oh, you're right behind me, isn't he? Which is, you see coming from a mile away. But not only that, then he's like, you left this in my office. No, they didn't.
He didn't. He walked out with it, yeah.
Like, no, they didn't. Like, if there were some kind of punchline where Hollister figured it out and it scared him and freaked him out, but it was Lister holding it. Yeah. And he gives it back to Rimmer like, you idiot, you dropped this. And I'm like, where did they drop it? And I know that's more, yes, I'm well aware that is probably more, in some ways, nitpicky, but I don't think it is.
No.
I think when there's that many of these things, like the guitar string timing, like the timing of unfreezing your body, when you do that, I mean, go back to the murder mystery episode where they can't figure out why Cat has a broken foot and there's a tombstone and the missing time.
I love how you don't reference the actual title of that episode, Blake, because it is the title of our podcast.
Fair enough. If you remember, thanks for the memory. Like, think of how tight that's written, like a murder mystery, where every little thing,
I love that episode.
And that challenge, and that's not a super sci-fi concept anyway, but like, where is that? Where is that thought put into everything? And that's what when I can ask multiple questions like I just did now, they're going, what? Why did that doesn't make sense? Like, that's not what we just saw. Why not just turn the dino back into a bird? It only takes like 2 seconds.
Literally.
Lister can do it.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand what's happening.
Because we're creating content for the sake of creating content. That's the problem. And the annoying thing is, we've basically for the most of Series 7 and a good chunk of this series said they're not the best episodes. I'm not going to lie. There's part of me wants to go back and watch some Series 7 I didn't like as much and see what I think about it right now. That'd be interesting.
Because I think it might feel like an improvement.
The annoying thing... Well, I don't think I'd go that far. The annoying thing is, in every episode we've talked about that we've kind of ripped to shreds, there is the seed of a really good idea there. They just didn't do it.
The first one we didn't like, where they switched the body swap.
Yeah.
Where we said if the episode had actually been about the ship about to explode, only at the end for the like, here's your Choco Bar or whatever, and the stuff. Because that's how that episode starts, remember? And it's like tense and they think they're going to die, and then it spits out a nut bar because it's...
Yeah, but that's one episode out of 6. We're talking about 16 episodes here through Series 7 and Series 8.
Well, I don't think we minded the first of Series 7, right, with the Kennedy thing.
No, and the first couple of episodes of this series were okay as well. They just...
I still think if you took the first 3 episodes and pared them down to 1 50-minute, you probably have a fairly good start.
Oh my God.
I still think that.
I've actually forgotten what the first 3 episodes... And now you said the first 3 episodes and paired it, I'm like, oh yeah, that was back in the red part 1, 2, and 3, wasn't it?
We talked about previously, if you'd made that 2 and cut Pete down to 1, what did we say? Or cut it down to 1, you'd have a 6-episode series, whatever it was. We're like, yeah, you're down to 6.
Probably better for it. This did literally my notes are now finished, Blake. Other than my rating at the bottom of it, and then one sentence here that says absolutely no need to be 2 parts.
So I got more angry questions.
Oh, go for it then. It's all over to you, sir.
Okay. Back to the finishing the vomit conversation that Hollister had.
Yes.
Here's my other angry question. Why would Hollister let them have the time wand? We can't figure out how it works. It's Crichton that's been using it. If Hollister asks the android how it works, he has to answer, which also points out to me, Crichton and Hollister have never been in the same damn room since like the beginning of the series. But like, I don't get that. Like, why would he give it to them? Which I said further proves the story of the show really doesn't want to deal with them being in jail.
No.
Again, one of the things that has been a through lines popped up is like, why did they put them in this jail and not just, again, I feel like the answer should have been, okay, you're innocent of all this, but the only way we let you stay on the ship is you're going to be our little special ops team for the insane things that you know about, that you've encountered. And so then they sort of have this weird, like, love-hate relationship with the group. Because the jail cell was clearly to create the canaries, to create the, and also the isolation of Lister and River being in a room together to do the old school stuff. But like, it's so clear they didn't want to do, why? They are prisoners in jail, and he gives them a time machine. Like, that makes no sense. Or take this time wand and the guy McTavish, who's on Outlander, but who's the guy who runs the prison in the show,
who really
he has to go with you. You know, well, hell, that could provide some comedy, right? I mean, like you have these other funny performers. That doesn't make sense to me. Like in the early episodes of the Canaries, they always went with supervision. Like there was someone from that crew. So why would he give them that? Okay, here's another one. When the dino vomits, why does Captain Hollister say they got hit by carrots the size of tree trunks?
So Tracy said the carrots wouldn't grow.
They wouldn't grow.
No, Tracy said that.
Why would they grow?
Yeah, she said that.
Like you didn't. Yeah. I don't.
I know. I guess it's just a joke because there's always carrots in vomit and stuff, and because it's a dinosaur, they will be massive. But yeah, it doesn't make sense.
But like already the massive wave of diarrhea is already funny. Like, you don't need like. What does that do for you? Or say, I mean, he gets hit by Bob, so that you can talk about.
We didn't need that. No, I agree.
In a show about what doesn't make sense. Oh, and my whole them not wanting to be in jail. Have you forgotten something about the Red Dwarf League? Because I kind of did. Not only do they really not want to deal with this cast being in jail, but they've created this scenario because they do every excuse they can to not have them be in the jail. The Red Dwarf doesn't have a jail. I know it was invented for Series 8 to create this sort of brig thing. Yeah. Because they have... What do they have? They have the stasis pods.
Oh, that's true.
That's the punishment.
Yes.
So they don't have to deal with the brig.
And then you could argue that when the nanobots recreated Red Dwarf...
to its original specs...
maybe the original specs didn't have stasis pods on them and it had a brig.
So where did the criminals come from then? You know what I mean?
Look, I said this when we went back to the prison. Why have you got a prison? B, why is everyone in the prison the worst? Like the worst? Like why would they be on a mining ship? If there were, it doesn't. Look, I know there's probably people listening to this going, you're thinking about this way too hard, guys. It's just a stupid comedy show that was written like 30 years ago. And I'm like, yeah.
But I would say actually it was a smartly written.
It was.
With stupid comedy show.
Yes.
Like, and we have lost the like. Because even when stuff doesn't hit well, like the Kennedy episode of Series 7, it doesn't just hit one after the other like a series 2 through 4 or 5, 6 episode. But hey, cool. I see where you're going. Like, okay, this is interesting. This is fun. You know what I mean?
And it was different. So you were kind of happy to see it because it was taking you out of the norm a little bit. And you need that as a little palate cleanser every now and again.
So to be clear, I'm really trying not to compare series 8 through 1 through 6. I'm really trying to do it to 7 because I think that's more fair. And I think 7 takes stronger swings at certain things. I mean, that whole I'm listed of smeg.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, I mean, that whole thing. Again, yeah, I say they use the AR machine too much, but it's still funny, the stuff that's happening in it. Wait, let's see. What else do I have for Blake's angry questions? Oh, here we go. This also plays into the next episode because it's like they squeezed it into this episode to make sure it worked in the next one. I don't understand the premise of the show at this point. And here is why. Why is Rimmer still obsessed with gaining high command? It has been 3 million years. Why does he think he would get command on a ship? There may be no more ships. They've admitted they believe and understand it has been 3 million years. They don't even know if Earth exists anymore. So I'm confused about why the revived Red Dwarf crew don't react to it being such a huge amount of time, as if they are acting like instead of the nanobots rebuilding everything, they time jumped.
And maybe they did, because you've already said that the nanobots rebuilt Red Dwarf to its original spec.
Right, so remember, because it was better than the value engineered version.
Can they say the same for the crew then? Have they been recreated to their original spec? Therefore, its original Rimmer, that's who he was in his core, was desperate to be an officer. Sure.
But why would he? But even Rimmer that wanted to be that way, if you're like, hey, by the way, sorry, 3 million years, you can't do it. What future does, because he never says I want to be captain of Red Dwarf until the next episode. He wants to be a captain in the Space Corps, right? And he's still talking about it in those ways. Like they're talking about it like all that crap still exists.
Yeah.
And I'm confused by it. And even like, and when he said that, it then made me look at everyone else like Hollister. I'm like, why is everybody just like, okay, a ton of different adventures happen at Series 6. And it had a through line of finding Red Dwarf, which they only addressed at the beginning or end of every episode. And then whatever adventure happened. We have no idea. What is Captain Hollister? What's the plan with the crew from Red Dwarf? What are they doing?
I mean, we said that a couple of episodes ago. It's like, what is actually going on?
They're not mining
right
anything,
now? No,
right?
Where are they actually going? Because they haven't said they're going back to Earth. They haven't, like, we've had no reference as to.
And if you were going to reboot this show, why in the world did the final third episode of your openers not be Captain Hollister going, well, point is to Earth, Holly. The slime's coming home. Like, he should have. Even just saying that.
We have no reference or comment at all as to where they're heading right now. And we said that either last episode or the episode before. Like, I don't know. I don't like, we started to address it in the opening 3 episodes, but who told you that? Well, it's the vending machine. That's classified. Look, it might be true that it's true. Like, that just got dropped. And it just, never mind. We're just doing our thing. But what is your thing? You know, like, because there was something interesting about this guy who's the ship psychiatrist and the person who does this and that. And they're like, you guys are insane. But then what happens when they find out, actually, that's true. Yeah.
All that's true. Because they do accept it and find out it's true. So again, I think making them forget the canaries and you just make them a sort of special exploration group would have made more sense. I mean,
they still could have done it. It felt like, so you look at the canaries, it made perfect sense. Brilliant. So now the show moving forward is every week they go on a mission to some derelict or some planet, and yet they didn't, and the kind of irrelevant.
Because one of the better episodes is Cassandra, which sort of follows the old format.
Yes, and that's exactly what you kind of expected it to become.
Yeah, and we even said in that episode, like, oh look, Crichton's competent again, and like the crew was back to some extent.
Yeah,
and then it's still derailed.
Like, they come into this briefly, don't they? When they have we have to go and fight the T-Rex, but we're not allowed to use guns. It's like, no problem, because they've only got little arms, haven't they? They've got no reach. Which was quite amusing, again, I must admit.
It's funny, but then it does go on too long. Like when Rimmer says, they do have short arms, maybe that's why they're always so cross. And it should end, but then it shows him like reaching down with the hands, and I'm like, it always goes back to that whole, as much as we love Marooned, Now I know why dogs lick their testicles.
We don't need to telegraph the joke. Yeah.
Yeah. It doesn't, like, him just saying that. And I feel like him just saying that is more Rimmer. Right? Lister, yes. Rimmer wants to be proper. He wants to be more high status than he is. So when he does stuff like that, that's the kind of stuff Lister should do.
Yeah.
Right? Because Rimmer like to think of himself as more posh and more like, and that's the other thing. Like, as much as it's nice to have Chris Berry back being this sort of this Rimmer from earlier, he does some things that go over a line that I think do work if it's a Rimmer who knows, well, my whole dreams are all gone because who knows if Earth even exists anymore? Who knows if humanity, but that's not the story that's being told.
Yeah, because you've made me think back to the Balance of Power. We'll be going back now. The episode where Lister takes the chef's exam.
Oh, yeah, to be just a slight rank over him.
And he comes in as Kachansky, and he pulls his shirt out and looks down and goes, I've seen something you haven't, Squire.
Yeah. Yes.
Kind of the same thing, because he might want to be prim and proper, but he still has that edge. So I don't think that.
But he does that to rib his enemy Lister.
Yeah. Okay. Fair enough.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's still what you said earlier.
To get under
the
his
jokes
skin.
used to come from the characters.
Yes.
And so this is just an excuse for Rimmer.
It's just a stupid joke. Yeah.
Here's the problem. You know what? Could Rimmer have said that joke and it worked? Yep. Could Kachansky have said, they have short arms? Maybe that's why they're so grumpy.
No.
Anyone could have said the joke. And it would, but I'm saying the joke would still make sense, is what I'm saying, right? Like it doesn't matter that it's Rimmer. Like, in fact, and there's some world that the two grubby guys would have actually been funnier.
Probably,
say that.
I think Baxter would have been funny. The bigger guy, Baxter, he would have been funny if he'd have said it. Yeah, that's not bad.
I know it's a lot of armchair quarterbacking.
Yeah, they don't want to give them a lot to do, though, do they? Because they're not the cast.
No, speaking of that, I have another sci-fi problem with them coming up.
Oh, God.
Sorry, you were like, we'll have no notes on this. And I did take a lot last night. I apologize.
Hey, I wasn't expecting to still be talking 53 minutes in, to be fair.
Okay. I'll push you. Let's see. Oh, why does Hollister... we talked about that. Why does he bring back the wand? Clearly, they didn't leave it there because they were doing the rewind gag. We talked about that. Crichton penis gag. Yeah, we talked about that one. Yeah. Aliens gag with Crichton's penis. As you said, love to see the reference, but the concept is so out of place with the rest of the story that it, like again, a whole episode about trying to catch Crichton's penis could have been a thing that was funny.
It's like we introduce it and then we do one joke, another joke, and it's gone. Never to be seen again.
And it's gone. So here's another, I don't understand the story. I don't understand what's happening. So right after that bit, the crew gets jumped by the two grubs who are like, we are going to fight the dino, you stay away. Which there's a level of stupidity that it's almost too far, but so they try to use the time wand. Obviously they use it on Chris Lister and Rimmer.
But can't figure it out.
And then throw it away. Crichton picks it up and explains what happened. And then as they walk out, they bump into Crichton, who drops it. And then the next scene is them coming down the hallway out of their uniforms and back into their purple uniforms, which I don't really get. Like that implies an amount of time has happened.
Yeah.
Because they're no longer in Canary. They're in their purple uniforms. So they're marched back up. You lost the time wand. I'm like, did they? I just thought he bumped into him. And it's not like we saw them grab it.
No, I think they do grab it. I think if you watch it, I noticed the second or third time I watched it.
Okay, so
they
grab
it and take. So as he runs past, they take it off him. Yeah,
it's filmed really weird.
That's how I saw it anyway. That they whipped it out of his hand as they walked past.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I got you. It just was like, it read like a bump and it didn't.
Yeah, okay.
Like you didn't see it get snatched out of. I'll have to go back and look at that. But when Lister and Rimmer have to go to Hollister, who's like, you lost the time wand. And he said, well, yeah, so we got jumped. Why does Rimmer cut Lister off? He's like, no, don't tell him. And then he's like, no, don't tell him.
Oh, I don't know.
Do you know what I'm talking about? Lister tries to tell Hollister what happened. And Rimmer's like,
I guess it's maybe to stop being a snitch.
But if you want to be a captain, wouldn't Rimmer be like, we're trying to do our best, but these, like, I don't.
Yeah, maybe.
It wouldn't it be, but
More,
there's no
it would
reason.
Be more Rimmer-like
there's not
to
like
tell him, yeah. It should be the other way around then.
But like, you know how you fix this? Is when they take it, they're like, if you tell anybody about this, we'll flip and kill you. And they leave. That would work. But they don't, like, for no reason, Rimmer is like, keep to secrecy, Lister. And I'm like, I don't, why?
So then the argument is, to make that sense, is you flip it. And you have Rimmer going to tell Hollister, and Lister's
says,
the one. Yeah, don't.
Because Lister has the street smarts.
Yes, and he sort of knows the rules of the rules of the playground, as it were, that you don't snitch on you.
You know what I'm saying? It's
make
weird
more
that it's
sense.
Rimmer.
Yes, it is. You're right.
And I know that's little, but I'm also just like,
No,
like,
I think you're right.
I just kept writing, why did this happen with so many things?
Yeah.
Now, this does lead to my other largest laugh, though. When they start catching up to them getting their asses kicked by the time wand, like how they got paused, Chris Berry's first reaction of the hit and then straight up in the air and fall backwards is hysterical.
Yeah.
I know it's in the opening of the show,
Yes.
but in context,
yeah.
he does that so well.
Because he like stiffens up and then jumps backwards. Is brilliant.
Yeah, I had to rewind it like 3 times. I was like, that is such a great moment of physical comedy. But as you see, an excuse we made it. You're like, so the time wand was to do that gag. I mean, I guess you'd done the dino. But again, why aren't these called Time Wand Part 1 and Part 2 instead of Pete Part 1 Part 2? Here's your other sci-fi story. Did they leave those two as apes? I mean, they definitely broke the time wand after.
Guess so. Yeah, they don't change them back.
No, they don't.
Wow. Yeah.
I didn't think of it. Like, my wife pointed that one out.
Yeah,
like,
probably.
Oh.
Unless, I don't know, if you destroy it, does everything that it's changed change back?
I see, but got to establish that. And again, Lister uses the wand. We already said it. Here we are at the end. So quick. Why didn't Crichton earlier? Here's my next question. Why did Rimmer demand they destroy the time wand? There had been nothing in the story that the time wand hurt them. People used the time wand and hurt them.
But then that's the argument, isn't it? You know, if it gets into the wrong hands, it could cause all sorts of havoc.
But they don't establish why they couldn't just do what Crichton first did, freeze everybody after they take care of the dino and go, guys, let's get out of here. Like, because, spoiler alert, they escape in the next episode. They try to escape Red Dwarf. So why would, and also there was no line that of like Hollister being like, you take this, you fix this, and you bring it right back to me or you are dead. And then Rimmer's just like, we can't give back to Hollister. Just get rid of it. Like, it's again, we got to break it so we can have this gag with the dinosaur egg afterwards.
Yeah.
Which, points for the dino egg with its legs sticking out running around is weirdly adorable. Like, it's weirdly adorable.
But then the massage bit with Hollister's terrible.
Again, it's one of those, you see where it's going. It's not. That's one of those I'm like, in another world, that's workable somehow. There's something there you could do. But like,
it's just like, such a Frankenstein of an episode. It's just.
I don't. And then, Hollister's like bit of 12 months in the hole, not you, me. Which I gotta be honest, it almost feels like that happened between that episode and the next episode.
Yeah.
I'm like angry. Got angry again going through these. I got really annoyed last night going through this again and doing notes.
So I had to watch the last 5 minutes of this. I think I messaged you this yesterday. So I had to watch the last 5 minutes of this episode again today, because when I watched it for my third note-taking view on Sunday night, I slept
Bless you.
through.
I had to force myself to do this one.
I slept through the last 5. Like, I started to doze off, and I didn't even try and wake myself back up. I just fell asleep and woke up at the end because it's just terrible. I
was so tired last night that I don't ever do. I watch my shows on my TV. I only watch my shows on my phone. I laid in bed.
Wow.
And I watched it on my phone with my note app, taking notes as that's. I was so tired, but I was like, I got to do this. And then I stopped being tired because I just got angry. There are just too many things for me to not believe that someone in that writer's room or however it worked didn't ask some of these questions. And I'll bet people are like, oh man, it's just a silly show. Don't worry about it. But I'll argue that is when you lose people. And they did.
That's the problem. You look at, we've talked about it, you look at, for me, as far as clever writing, I think we've talked about it before, that Red Dwarf seems to be split into two series kind of pockets. Yeah. So you look at like the first two series, and for me, that's still quintessential Red Dwarf.
It's a trilogy, right? Series 1 and 2, 3 and 4, 5 and 6.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like it feels very much like, because they each kind of are they fit together well.
Yes.
They complement each other. They start with a slightly new concept, or in the case of the first one, a brand new concept, and then just give a little bit more to it.
And then change at the end. So for me, like, nothing's convinced me, having watched through the end of Series 8 at this point, that 1 and 2 aren't the best two series of Red Dwarf at all. Like, I still absolutely adore them, and it's like it's made me realise that talking about this episode, and I'm sure we'll get into it with the next one as well, how much I miss old school Red Dwarf, that what it has, and look, it had to evolve. We've talked about that a lot over the course of these.
But don't you think the problem with this is it didn't? It weirdly tried to go back to be the original thing, but not
but it
quite.
Hasn't. I wouldn't even say not quite. It's nowhere near. It's nowhere near what it was, because you look at those first 12 episodes and they're clever. There's some really clever writing in there, like really tight stories with some really good, well-written jokes. And then, like we said, with 3 and 4, we kind of got into a little bit more. We got a bit more money, so we can go off ship a bit more and do some actual adventures. And it evolved from that. And you brought Crichton in, which obviously changed the dynamic and stuff. And then you got into 5 and 6, where again they probably got a little bit more money. We threw a bit more at that, and then we went into 7 when Rob Grant left, and you were like,
and to be fair, there was a gap. That's the longest gap, too,
yes,
right? Bit of a gap there.
So Rob Grant left. And then, as I said earlier, you're going through trying to figure things out on the fly with Chris Barry leaving and bringing Chloe Annette in for Kachansky. So that sort of changed. It took them a while, like we did when they brought like Hilly in, and then when Crichton came in, a little bit of time to figure out their place in the crew, and it very much the same with Chloe Annette. And then these, like 7, they just...
Isn't it funny to think about for female Holly, we kept going, man, it's a shame they didn't give her more to do. And it looks like she had so much to do compared to how much they gave Norman Lovett for this.
Yeah, to bring him back.
Series.
For nothing.
Yeah.
And
to make such a big deal of bringing him back.
It just, that clever writing has gone entirely. And it, like I said, it's just become a Red Dwarf sketch show with a loosely based story around it.
Again, it's not that you can't have a puerile joke in Red Dwarf, but when that's all it is, like Series 8 feels very squarely aimed at like
teenagers,
a 13-year-old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I wouldn't have said that about the rest of them. I would have said the other ones could be enjoyed by a variety of people.
Yes.
But this just seems very...
puerile. You made the word was there. It is. There's a lot of sex jokes in it, and like you said, it's not like we haven't had them previously, but it just seems to lean on it a little too heavily. And not that we're prudes by any stretch of the imagination. It just it's a little too much. It just leans on those a little too much.
And so when moments did kind of get that way, just a tad, but they were based on the story that was happening. Again, I'll go back to like when Crichton and Lister, like they're like doing it to Rimmer's eye when he walks in because he's just trying to get his boxers off because it's the polymorph.
Yeah,
it like that works because we know it's not what it is. It's about the other character thinking that's what it is. Whereas these jokes are we're just gonna. This is it. This is the thing we're talking about. It's not an innuendo. It's not a
mistaken circumstance.
Yeah.
It is it's
man.
And probably the worst, like we talked about, it did me on the last episode of the one before, that I'd be interested to go back through at some point in the future and do like our top 5 favorite sort of end of episode punchlines. This one's terrible. Like how this episode ends, just
Wait,
kind of.
I've already forgotten.
You
What is
literally
it?
went through it about 5 minutes ago as well. I'm going in the hole. Where are you guys going?
Oh,
So
go in
you
the
went
hole.
12 yeah,
12 months.
Exactly.
Is that the? You know what's sad is I couldn't remember like if that is that
Yeah,
exactly
that is-
where it ends.
that's
But
where
that
it
is?
ends, yeah.
Okay. See, couldn't even.
No. And that was always the thing. Like the ends always used to be so good. Like I said, putting these episodes together where we sort of do our little thanks for the memory acting theatre thing at the end of every episode. So putting them together and putting our outro music at that bang spot when that joke hits, you start to see how good most of them are. And they've been awful for quite a while now. Quite honestly.
It's just like they needed to push it out. That's what it feels like. And maybe that's what it was. Maybe there's a lot of stuff going on.
Maybe.
And, I mean, I would love to get a true, honest to God, behind the curtain conversation with someone to know, like, so why didn't it work? Because again, no one sets out to make something that's bad.
No.
Like, so what circumstances got created that just kept the polish from being applied to these?
And I think that's what it is.
And I do think the beginning premise is flawed. The idea of bringing the crew and the ship back is like exciting, but then you don't really do anything with it. It doesn't really.
No. Like how much of the
go
crew do you
anywhere.
actually see? Very few of them.
Yeah. Oof. Well, does that get us to our score? Oof. I'm depressed now.
I mean, I wrote a 4. I put a 4 down.
I did, but during our conversation, I just changed it.
To
So because of we're finished, the Norman Lovett Holly joke bye,
yeah.
and Chris Berry's hysterical pratfall up and backwards, they get a point for each one. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10,
Wow. Yeah.
and I don't feel bad about it.
No, I think Body Swap is about the only episode we've give that lower
Body Swap's
score.
That's a lot. I bet if I watched that right now, I would be in heaven probably.
I
Comparatively.
don't know whether you anyway.
Because
Wow.
I think at least the characters act like the characters.
That's it. And we've said, I think a lot of these, what moving forward from like last season into this season series, they have lost a lot of, like, Lister is not the Lister we've known.
And he also isn't the Lister that we've seen grow either. Pick
No.
one. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
It's like the characters, they're not the characters anymore.
I still think, how funny would it have been if they did make this special group and made Lister de facto like lieutenant of the group, and Rimmer's like, what?
Yeah.
You know, like because of his experience and because it's kind of true, you know, or it's Kachansky with Lister right under. So I don't know, but like, yeah, it's. Ay. Oh man, we have to talk about episode 8 after this.
Yeah, I can't believe we've talked for as long as we did for that one. I thought we'd get rattled through this in no time. Anyway, that is going to bring us to the end of the podcast. Be sure to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dwarf Memory for all show updates. And I posted something on Instagram last week that one of our listeners got in touch with us about that blew my tiny little mind, that I immediately rang Blake to tell him about it. I'm not going to say what it is, but let's just say something around the podcast has changed because of that piece of information. And if you want to find out what that is, go and follow us on Instagram and Facebook.
That's awesome. That made me so happy. Oh, please subscribe, rate, review the show wherever you can, and email us your comments at dwarfmemory@gmail.com.
We've had some great emails lately. One of them, again, I've just referenced there. Go and find out what it is. It was so, I blew my tiny mind. I was just like, what the hell? Yeah, the next episode we will be discussing will be the 8th and final episode of Series 8, which is Only the Good. So make sure to watch before you join us for the next episode.
What's that, sir? You're suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder? You may never speak again. The Hole. 12 months. Wait, where the hell are we going?
The Hole, sir?
We're not going to the Hole. You are. You'll see us in 12 months.